Have you ever spoken perfect grammar, but still sounded off? Like people understand your words but not your meaning? Welcome back to the Duo Dialogues, your pocket guide to powerful English communication. In the last episode, we explored how to switch between formal and informal English like a pro. Today, we'll reveal how rhythm, stress, and tone can make your English sound smooth, confident, and natural, just like a fluent speaker. Let's dive in.
Have you ever, listened to someone speaking English and thought, wow, they sound so musical, like it just flows?
Yeah, completely effortless.
Right. But then sometimes, especially for learners, it can sound a little, flat, maybe robotic.
Exactly. What's the secret there?
Well, that exact question is what kicked off this whole deep dive for us. We've been digging into some sources that really try to break down what makes English speech sound natural and engaging.
And our goal here really isn't just to talk about it. We want to pull out the actual techniques, the things you can, use. We'll focus on some key examples from the material.
So first off, why does this even matter? Why aim for that natural sound?
Well, the sources we looked at are pretty clear. English is what they call a stress-timed language. That's a big piece of the puzzle.
Meaning you don't just give every single syllable the same weight.
Exactly. If you do that, just say word after word very evenly. That's where the robotic sound comes in. Natural speech, according to this material, it's all about the ups and downs, the rhythm, intonation, emotion, too.
And it's not just about sounding nice, is it? The sources point out it actually affects understanding.
Oh, massively. Stress the wrong syllable, or maybe don't stress the important words in a sentence, and suddenly it's harder for people to follow what you're saying. It can actually change the meaning sometimes.
Okay, so let's get into the specifics. The first big thing the sources highlight is word stress. This seems pretty foundational.
It really is. It's about making one syllable in a word stand out more than the others, giving it that little bit of extra emphasis.
And the material gives some good examples, like patterns for two-syllable words.
Yeah, there's often a tendency, for nouns, think T-able. Stress on the first part.
Right, T-able, got it.
But then for a lot of two-syllable verbs, it flips, like decide or polaise. Stress on the second syllable there.
Interesting. And it gets more complex with longer words, too, right? The stress can shift.
It can. Like in compound words or longer words, sometimes the stress moves around a bit, often just to keep things clear or maintain a certain rhythm. But the core idea, the sources really emphasize this, is finding that main beat, that one strong syllable in the word.
Okay, so that's word stress. What builds on that? Sentence rhythm.
Exactly. If word stress is the beat inside a word, sentence rhythm is kind of the beat across the whole sentence.
So stressing certain words more than others.
Precisely. Some words carry the main, meaning nouns, verbs, adjectives, and they tend to get the stress, while the little grammar words often get reduced, said more quickly.
And pausing fits in here too, doesn't it? The sources mention that. It's not just rushing through.
Absolutely. Natural rhythm involves pausing, at logical places, like where you'd normally see a comma or a period if you were writing it down.
It helps break things up.
Yeah, and the sources talk about this idea of chunking, grouping words together.
Ah, right, like thinking in phrases.
Kind of. Instead of saying, I went to the store yesterday, all separate.
Yeah, nobody talks like that.
Right, you'd naturally group it like I went to the store yesterday. These little chunks. The sources say it helps the listener grab the meaning more easily, makes it flow.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You're guiding the listener. Okay, so we have word stress, sentence rhythm, pausing. What else adds that musicality?
Tone and emotion. Definitely. Your voice pitch going up and down.
It's not just what you say, but how you say it.
Exactly. The sources give those classic examples like, think about asking a question versus stating a fact.
Like, you're coming, statement. Falling tone.
But then you're coming, rising tone at the end. Suddenly it's a question. Same words, different tune.
And that tune carries emotion too, right? Excitement, doubt.
All of it. Just by changing your pitch, how high or low you go, the melody of your voice, really, that's what makes speech feel alive and, human.
So how can you actually practice all this? Did the sources suggest anything concrete?
Yeah, actually, there was a neat activity mentioned. Take a paragraph, anything simple.
Okay.
First, read it out loud, totally flat, like deliberately monotone. No stress, no real tone.
Just the words.
Just the words. Then read it again. But this time, really try to hit the stresses on important words and syllables, pause naturally between phrases, use your tone to show the meaning.
And maybe record yourself.
That's what they suggested. Hearing the difference back to back can be quite revealing.
So, pulling it all together, If you want to unlock that natural flowing English sound, it really boils down to these three things, doesn't it?
Seems like it. Mastering word stress, finding that sentence rhythm with stress and pausing, and using your tone effectively.
And connecting it back to you, the listener focusing on these things based on what we read isn't just cosmetic, it makes you clearer.
Definitely clearer, and probably more confident too. It just makes conversations easier, smoother, more effective, really.
So here's something to think about. We talk about body language, right? Nonverbal cues. Well, maybe the music of English, that stress, rhythm, tone, is a kind of nonverbal too. If you start mastering that, what new doors might open? How might people connect with you differently just because you sound more authentically you in English?
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into sounding more natural in English.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Next time, we're diving into strategies for reaching that really high level of fluency